ICT himself said that this strategy is the only strategy that you need to quit your job in 90 days.
This alone, if you could do these types of setups once per day, this is all you need to carve out a career, to replace your job.
Now, the reason this strategy has such a high win rate is because it uses a small window for trading and it utilizes all of ICT's concepts in a very concise way. It allows you to get in and out of the market very quickly. So the strategy that we're going to be learning today is the silver bullet strategy. Okay, and you only trade it for 1 hour during the day, which is between 10 and 11 a.m. Now, the reason that I give all of these different strategies on my channel, like I've explained a few times before, is because certain strategies appeal to others more than others will. And the reason for this is everybody has a different personality, firstly. Everybody has a different risk management preference, and others have different psychological traits that are suited to different strategies more. Secondly, everybody has a different lifestyle, and different strategies suit other people's lifestyles better. This is just a fact of trading, okay? And so I've given everybody different strategies that I have devised that work out the box, okay? They work specifically for you as an individual, just using these rules. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you can't combine these strategies, and I'm not saying that any one is better than the other. It's like prop firms. There's many different prop firms that all work and all pay out, but at the end of the day, you can use whichever one suits you best. All of them have different rules and different regulations that suit certain people's trading style, lifestyles, and risk psychology better. All right. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the ICT silver bullet strategy. Okay, the silver bullet setup happens between 10 a.m. New York time and 11 a.m. New York time. This is a strategy that will give you setups almost every single day, if not every single day. The reason for this is it's very simple and it only requires a few different criteria for you to enter. However, the setups that do present themselves are very high probability, as I'll show you in a minute. One thing you need to remember, guys, is that 99% of traders are failing to become profitable, and the reason for this is psychology. So finding a strategy that suits your psychology is very important, and that's again why I give all of these different strategies that you can use, and you can backtest and create your own trading strategy, either combining some of these strategies or simply taking the recipe that I give you with the strategy and applying it on a day-to-day basis. So let's hop in and I'll show you the strategy and you guys can start backtesting it on your own. So before we hop in, I just want to remind you guys that this channel really appreciates all of your subscriptions and all of the likes and comments below. So I would appreciate it if you jump below and do that. So the ICT silver bullet strategy is extremely simple. All we are looking at on a daily basis is the time frame between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Now, all we're going to be identifying is some points of liquidity, okay? And this could be literally any high or low, okay? So this strategy takes place on the 1 minute time frame, all right? And you can utilize the 1 minute time frame to mark out your areas of liquidity. All you're going to do is identify to the left, hey, there's some liquidity here, and then there's some liquidity resting below. Okay, and it can take out any point of liquidity. As you can see, there is liquidity here. Okay, now it could come up, take out liquidity at this point, and then form a change of character. So all we're looking for is for price to sweep one of these areas of liquidity up like so, create a change of character, and then we're going to enter on the fair value gap, and then we're going to target the other sell side of liquidity. Essentially, it's simple. All you're going to be doing is finding a sweep of liquidity between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. and enter on the fair value gap that is created with the change of character. And you'll see that this plays out super often. So I've chosen to test this now on Euro USD. It works on any pair, okay? You just need to test and find which one works best for you. Now, what we're going to do is have a look at some live examples. So what we're going to do is mark out the 10 a.m. point. Make sure that your time zone is set to New York time zone, which is UTC -4. All right, it used to be UTC -5, but they've now adjusted it for daylight savings time. A lot of you guys have been asking me. All right, so we're going to find 10 a.m. Alternatively, you guys can head over to indicators and you look for sessions on chart. All right, by Aura Rocks. Just add it to your chart. And simply all you're going to do is remove everything except for New York session and just make it 10 o'clock and then make the end time 11 o'clock. This red band is going to be my trading area. Okay, this is where the setup plays out. So it's very simple, guys. All we're looking for is a sweep. What do we see here, guys? Before the session starts, we can already identify that there's some liquidity here, and we're looking for sweep of liquidity, which happens right here. And then we're looking for a break of structure, right? The break of structure, or change of character, sorry. The change of character happens right here. Why? The sweep happened and price comes and takes out the low where the sweep originated from, okay? And all we're gonna do, guys, is enter on the change of character, and this happened today in today's session. So you can see here, this is the fair value gap that happens right after we swept. We go for the extreme, like I've taught in other strategies as well. And if you guys are struggling with the fair value gap, there is a video on my channel on the fair value gap, and it goes into detail on how to spot them and use them. And then all we're going to do is target the next point of liquidity, which would be down here. 2.7 risk reward. You can see it's on the way there right now. We would probably have our stops at break even right now. So let's have a look at the previous day. And as you can see, guys, I'm not cherry picking any examples. You guys can go and backtest this yourself. But it really does work, and it gives you a setup pretty much every single day. I've not seen a day where there's no real setup that shows up. So let's go back in time some more. So this is the previous day. So as you guys can see, what do we see? We see price swept this point of liquidity, and we're simply waiting for price to change character. All right, and so it's very easy to see what happened. Price swept, took some liquidity, formed this little low here. The change of character happens at this point. Okay, so this is your change of character, and then we would look for the fair value gap, which there is a tiny one right here. And we would then enter short off of this fair value gap just above the change of character, and it is the extremity. So the fair value gap on the extremity, and we would target the lows. Okay, this is the lows, which is the next point of liquidity. So as you can see, it sweeps, but we don't get a change of character, which is, so you could technically take it in two different directions, but just take one trade per day. So what we're going to do is go to the previous day now. And as you guys can see, the win rate is actually ridiculously high, and the strategy is actually ridiculously simple. So let's go to the previous day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll back, and I'm not going to see, as you can see, I can't see what happened in price because we're too high up. I'm just going to cut it right here at 10 a.m. And now I'm going to do bar replay on price here. Okay, so at 10 a.m. there is a little sweep right here. So we've got this low right here, but you can see that price is really, really bearish. So this would be the buy side liquidity, but it's just swept low side, the sell side liquidity right here with this wick. I would look at potentially, if there is a fair value gap after this is taken, I could potentially take it, but no, it just keeps going lower. It breaks, Okay, and the fair value gap is right here. So let's see if we can get a long position. This is very counter trend, so let's see if it plays out. This might be a loss. Stop loss is also quite large. In a case like this where the stop loss is quite large, what I would like to do is actually use the 50%. So we'll mark out the 50% of the zone, and I'll simply do this. And we'll target the top liquidity up here. So we're still in the trade. So now I would have gone break even because we got really close now. As I've said, I have not even seen this position before. Let's see if we hit take profit. And there you go. We hit take profit for 2.3 risk reward. So as you guys can see, there really is a lot of setups that present themselves, and even if this hit stop loss, we still would have been okay because we had two really good winners. Okay, what I'm going to do is do another example just like this, just so you guys know and see that I'm not talking rubbish. Okay, and also guys, just so you know, this is 1 pip below the low, and that's just what I do for all of my positions. Okay, so yes, that was completely live. I did not go back in time for that. So it's debatable whether that would have been taken out or not due to spreads, depending on what prop firm you use or which broker you use. Okay, so let's rewind this one as well. Okay, so now we're at 10 a.m. and let's see the silver bullet play out. So as you can see here at 10 a.m. we're looking for price to sweep liquidity in one of these directions. It's also like a really significant liquidity pool there, and then we're looking for a reaction. So now you can see price hasn't reacted to any, it's just swept this, so we could see now a reaction. Nope, price came up here. Okay, but now you can see that it's starting to get later in the session, so let's see if we do get a trade. Okay, so price now swept this here, all right, and it did come and change character right here, character, and so we can now enter on this fair value gap right here, which will give us a pretty good risk reward. And again, 1 pip above the highs. Okay, and so now we're looking to target another point of liquidity, but because the session is almost done, we can either target, we can take some partials here, but I'll probably target down here, okay, because there's a little bit of liquidity resting there. So let's see. So yeah, this one was a loss, but you can see it does end up going in that direction. Okay, so that being said as well, one thing I've also noticed with this particular strategy, when you take trades later on in the session, the win rate does decrease to some degree. So it's nice to see the sweep happen at 10, okay, but that doesn't always happen. So you can see here, there's no real setup that happens because it takes out some of these highs and none of these lows break or change character. Okay, so that would be a waste of time. You need to see an aggressive push in the opposite direction. And here is a really nice setup, but I don't think it gives us an entry, unfortunately. You can see price took out the highs, swept like crazy, came down, changed character. We would have looked for an entry up here, but it does not come back up. It hops into this fair value gap and flows. That's a very good example of a sweep that happens at 10 a.m. Unfortunately, not giving us an entry at that point. But I think at this point, you guys get the gist of exactly how this works. Let's go back to the previous day now. I just want to end off on one solid example. we don't have any changes of character. So price obviously sweeps and pushes to the upside. It doesn't change character. Only after 11 it changes character here, and it doesn't obviously do it in a very aggressive way. So let's continue to 1 day behind that. It really helps having this indicator on the chart. It helps you see exactly what's going on. We've got a push, but we don't have a change of character. See, the push that broke, this would need to be broken, and that did not happen here. It does break, okay, but it does not give us an entry up here, which would be our change of character. We can see a brilliant example of the setup playing out. Okay, so we've got price here sweeping liquidity, and we've got price changing character in an aggressive fashion, these big candles. Okay, and then we have this fair value gap. Okay, and we can enter on the fair value gap with our stop 1 pip above the high. Okay, and we will target the sell side liquidity, which is right here. We could even go for more. Alternatively, when my stops are this large, you can also go for the EQ. Okay, so the 50% of this. Okay, so if your stop is above 5 pips, my rule is that you go for the EQ, the 50% of the fair value gap. So we will put 4 pips to cover the highs, and we target the lows. So we've got a 2.65 now. So that's a rule you guys can implement. You use your Fibonacci tool to find the 50% of your fair value gap and enter there if your stops are above 6 pips, especially on Euro USD, because otherwise that's just way too big. So this is a brilliant example of the strategy, and the win rate is extremely high, guys. All you need to do is go and back test this strategy. If you guys appreciated this strategy and you are looking to implement it into your trading schedule, I would recommend going and backtesting it very thoroughly. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do subscribe below. If you guys are looking for a prop firm that's really good, one I would recommend is Bespoke Funding. The link will be down below. They give you no limits on the time that you need to pass the challenge. You can take 2 months, 3 months, however long it takes you, and this helps you to really pass your challenge. So that's why I recommend them. Also the best trading conditions I've ever seen. So the link is down below. That gives you 7.5% off your evaluation. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the very next video.